This video is about subtraction of integers using integer chips as a visual way to find the answer. So here we see the steps for doing this. First thing we're going to do is draw some chips representing the first integer in the equation. Our second step then is to look and see if there are chips available that we want to subtract. If they are available, then we remove them and the remaining chips are our answer. If the chips we need to remove are unavailable, we're going to bring in zero pairs until enough chips are available that we need to remove. We then remove the chips representing our second integer, and whatever's left over is the answer. So let's look at how that looks here. So here is an example question. So we're going to do 7 subtract 4. So the steps were you draw the first integer. So here are 7 chips representing that first integer. Now as we're doing subtraction, we need to remove something. So we want to make sure here that we don't put our next integer on here. Okay, that would be addition. We want to remove. So the second step was to look and see if the chips are available for the second integer which I want to remove. And in this question I need to remove 4 positive chips. I have 4 positive chips available. So I show that I'm removing those or subtracting those by circling them and then showing an arrow that they're going away. Once I've removed the ones that I want to remove or subtracted them, the remaining chips are my answer. So in this case, I have 1, 2, 3 positive chips remaining. My answer is positive 3. Let's do another one here. So let's say it's a negative 6. Subtract negative 2. Okay, so again, I'm going to draw my first integer using the chips. So I have 6 chips. Second step is to look and see if the chips are available for me to remove. I want to remove 2 negative chips this time. And yes, they are available. I will draw and I will remove those. I will then check and see there are 4 negatives. That's my answer, negative 4. Okay, let's try another one now, maybe where the chips aren't available. So let's say I have a 4 positive and I want to remove negative 2. So 4 subtract negative 2. So the first step is the same again. I draw my first set of chips representing that first integer. Second step again was I look to see if my second integer chips are available to remove. I don't have any negative chips at all. So now we need negative chips to remove. So as a side note, I mentioned earlier we need to remember what zero pairs are. So remember a zero pair, that's a positive 1. And a negative chip equals a negative 1. Those two, when combined together, equal 0. So they are a zero pair. So I can add any zero pair to any set of integer chips, and it does not change the value of what's present. So I just added 2 zero pairs, but when I'm asked what is this as a whole, what value is represented here, it is still positive 4. But you'll notice now there are 2 negative chips available for me to take and remove. So I'm going to now subtract those, remove those, and I'm left once again with the remaining chips are my answer. So my remaining answer is a positive 6. Let's try another one here. Negative 3 subtract 6. First step, draw my first integer, negative 3. Look at my second integer that I want to remove. Do I have chips available to remove? I need 6 positive chips to remove. Do I have 6 positive chips? I do not. So then my next step is to bring in enough zero pairs until I have 6 positive chips in my grouping here. So I'm going to bring in 6 zero pairs because that will give me 6 positive chips. Again, a reminder, always bring these in as pairs or you're changing the value of what's showing. So currently still, even though there's all those chips there, I still only have a value of negative 3. I now look and I see that I have 6 positive chips available, and I'm going to remove those, leaving my answer to be the remaining chips, which is a negative 9. Let's do another one. Let's see. 6 subtract -2. Draw my first set of chips for my first integer. 6 chips. I do not have 2 negative chips available, so I need 2 negative chips. So I'm going to bring in 2 0 pairs. I now have those available. I will now circle those, remove or subtract my second integer. My remaining chips are my answer, +8. Now at times it does come up where we may make a mistake and bring in too many 0 pairs. So let's do an example of that where I'll make a slight mistake, but we'll see that it's not that big of an issue. So I have my 4 negative chips. I need to remove 2 positive chips. So our step is, again, we bring in 2 0 pairs so that I have 2 positives. But let's say that I brought in 3 by accident. Okay, I still have the 2 positive chips I need to remove available, so I'm going to remove those, remove 2. And now I have a little bit of a issue here, but remember, these are 0 pairs, so I can then get rid of that, and my answer still will be -6. So once I've removed what I need to remove, you need to check and make sure that you don't have any 0 pairs remaining in your answer before you write your answer down. One more. -3 subtract 4. I don't need the brackets on there. Okay. -3. Now I don't have 4 to remove, so I'm going to bring in 0 pairs. I now have 4 available. I can circle and remove. Out we go. And that leaves us with 7 negatives. Okay, the steps are the same each time. I just thought of one extra one. Let's try this one. 0 subtract -4. Sometimes these ones get confusing. So I draw my first integer, which is 0. Okay, so I have nothing. So from what I have, I need to remove -4. So again, I'm now going to bring in 0 pairs, because that will still equal 0. Okay, I still have chips representing 0 on the board, but I can bring in enough so that I have 4 negative chips available. Again, the value of all of this is still 0. I take my 4 negative chips, I remove those. My answer is 4 positive. Any questions about these, please review the video again. Back it up, watch some of the examples there that I've done. Okay, the steps to show this visualization way of what's occurring when we subtract integers is important to remember. And after this, we'll move on to number lines.